What's up, everyone? Steve back with Ziggy's Lawn and Landscape. Today we're going to be starting off with our tune-ups, starting with this 2000 F550 with the 7.3 diesel. We are right at 154,000 miles, so it is due for its springtime oil change, oil filter change. We're going to do the fuel filter on top of the motor. We are going to check and or replace the fuel filters in the fuel tank itself. We're going to check all the tire pressures, check the ball joints, check the U-joints, check the drive shaft. We're just going to go through the whole truck and we're going to get everything running in tip-top shape so we're ready to go for the year. So
warm it up.
Let the glow plugs warm up here. It's about, what, 40 degrees?
Yeah.
It'll go. All right, we just let it warm up for about 10 minutes or so. It's gonna heat the oil up and thin it out so it makes it drain a lot faster and easier. We're gonna pop the hood. This hood actually needs to be propped up or else it'll come down. It's hit me in the back of the head a couple times. I'm gonna grab a piece of wood.
Go for it. A little bit dusty under here, but it's fine. It's you know, it's got a good air cleaner in it. It's just dirty. I'm gonna service it and tune it all up.
Right there, look at that, it's factory. Yeah, so this, I don't know if we've mentioned this in other videos. The truck was green, as you can tell.
Yeah.
And then it was originally white. So whatever they did, who really knows, who really cares, but we painted it black to match the rest of the fleet. This motor's been out already. The transmission's been replaced. As you can tell, we just did the alternator January 24th, so a couple weeks ago. We've of course had new batteries in it. We did a new oil pan, the up pipes, the exhaust manifolds, the gaskets, the fuel filter. It's got brand new injectors in it, brand new AC compressor. What else? I did an upgraded high pressure oil pump on this thing. It's got a brand new Motorcraft water pump, new power steering pump. I mean, all of this is within the past 2 years, except the injectors are the most recent other than the alternator. The turbo's been redone. I mean, this truck, you could literally start it and take it anywhere you want to go, and we can trust it that it will make it.
You look at it too, and you're probably like, oh my God, you did all that work. Look at how dusty it is. But, you know, there's little pieces like this that are just dirty, but the internals and everything that's really making the truck go is been replaced, addressed, etc.
Yeah, we've got all new hoses. We had a new radiator at some point. What else? Everything under the hood, like Jim said, the turbo, the intercooler pipes have been reused, obviously, but everything is, I mean, we've done the glow plug relay, we've done that's the ICP, right?
Yeah.
The ICP sensor, the map sensor's been done.
Cam sensor
down below. We have a spare of those in every glove compartment of all the trucks.
Everything, I mean.
But now that the truck is nice and warm, I just realized the dipstick top has snapped, the plastic piece.
Yeah, that's fine.
We'll open this just to get some more airflow so the oil drains faster. I'll leave this right here. Someone already wrote it here from the old owners, I guess, but we know these trucks are right at 15 quarts. So we buy 16 quarts for each truck. So now that this is good, we're gonna crawl underneath here. This is what you're gonna need. This is for all the trucks. Like we just said, you're gonna need about 4 gallons of the diesel oil. We buy did you show this already?
No, I didn't.
These are the fuel filters for the trucks, for the 7.3 diesels. These are just the filter elements themselves, and we bought the caps that are reusable. I think I bought them from Riff Raff, but they're Motorcraft OEM, and then there's a special tool to take the tops off, so we can save a good amount of money by reusing the caps, but by changing the filters every year. So we bought those in bulk, and then we bought 6 oil filters. It's easier to buy them in bulk, and these filters are monsters. When you change even a regular pickup truck to gasoline with a gasoline motor, going to this thing is monster. This thing is huge. And we pre-fill this with oil before we screw it back into the truck. But here we got the oil filters, we got the fuel filters. These, what I was talking about in the last video, these are the
screens in the tank.
Yeah, there's little screens that are in the sending unit of the tank, which actually has a brand new tank last spring with brand new filters. So we might not have to replace these this year. We're just going to definitely take them apart and clean them, but we have them if we have to replace them. we found that this works best for taking the old oil filter off. If you buy one of these trucks and people tighten them to the absolute limit, you won't get them off. I've seen people put screwdrivers through the sides of them. What else have you seen? Crazy stuff, right?
Yeah, people, I mean, they come out all mangled.
People posting on the groups on Facebook, how do I get this thing off? And there's a screwdriver or a breaker bar through the side of it.
Yeah.
They need to be hand tight.
Yeah, hand tight, and then a little bit more.
A little bit more.
Not much. You don't have to kill it. It's not going to fall off of the truck.
This fits right over the thing, the oil filter, and it's a 1/2-inch wrench, 1/2-inch ratchet with a little stubby adapter extension. Let me put this on, and you go to loosen it, it clamps it together. They come right off. We found that these are very good to have rather than the other universal removers or whatever. This is a little bit overkill, but the other hammers are in the basement. We use this, and then we use a small punch. Before we even drain the oil pan, we'll punch the bottom of the oil filter to let that drain out, so when you take it off, it doesn't spill oil everywhere. This makes life a breeze when you're underneath there and you're not getting covered in oil. You can be a little baby like I am and wear these gloves when you're doing these oil changes, but this oil is so thick, it's so black and dirty. But these are very cool, very good to have. We have a drain pan, I think it's 20 quarts that I can hold. Make sure you have an oil pan that can catch the amount of oil that's going to come out of this thing. I learned it the hard way back with my first truck. I think it was 2012 that my oil pan wasn't big enough and the oil ended up spilling in my parents' driveway, so lesson learned on that. But the truck's warmed up, the oil's nice and hot, it thinned itself out, so it should come out very easily, so we'll climb under there.
You also didn't mention what size it is. It's a 19 on a 7.3.
19 or
3/4.
Yeah. So I'm gonna actually punch.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna punch the oil filter first.
Okay.
Let that drain. And then this cart just helps. It's nice to have for ease of access in and out.
The oil pan on a 7.3 is huge.
Yeah, it's a monster. I don't know if this is gonna.
Oh yeah, we can see it. Is it going?
Is there one side or the other? I'm punching with the wrong side.
Yeah.
That won't do anything. Okay, there we go. You need to punch a small little hole.
And then you just let it go.
And let it drain. So when you take the oil filter off, it'll be nice and easy, nice and mess free.
So we'll leave that for a minute.
And then this pan is actually big enough to do the oil filter and the oil pan at the same time. So we're just gonna, a little bit of oil down here, nothing crazy. No impact guns on this, no drills, just a nice ratchet or even just a regular wrench. Do not strip out this nut because you will hate your life. You'll have to pull the motor or do some stuff people say is jack the motor up.
You can rethread it, but that's not the right way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very, very dark, very dirty. But these...
Also on these 7.3s, I've seen a lot of people, they put a quick valve on the drain pan where it's like a, for like a water sink or something like that, where you just turn the ball valve and it drains. But it's a good idea in theory to be quick, but then you also could take a gamble of all the vibration and the motor going on for that to open up, and then you lose your oil when you're driving, you don't even know it.
So I don't like that idea, but I just like the old-fashioned drain nut.
Yeah, very minimal spillage here, even if I wasn't to have gloves on, by simply using a punch. If you don't have a punch and you're in a jam, you can take a drill with a small drill bit and drill a small little hole in the bottom of it.
Yeah. But that's the idea. Get all the oil out.
Yeah.
And we can talk a little bit more about what this thing is going to need. It probably doesn't need it, but we're going to check it.
Yeah, we need to do, we said, brand new injector, so we're going to keep up with our filters a lot more frequently than, not that we were, but just to keep it on the safe side. We only put about, I don't know, since there's so many trucks, we spread the miles out over the year. This truck only got 6,000 or 7,000 miles last year. That truck up there probably got 10 to 15,000, and the pickup truck got about 20,000. I mean, we just spread them all over the place.
You want to show them the fuel bowl while we're letting this drain?
Yeah, let me find the tool first.
Yeah.
So this is the tool that we bought off of Riff Raff Diesel. It's just, I think it works with different, you can flip it either way and use it for different style filter caps or whatever. Here's a brand new OEM fuel filter cap for a 7.3. I think the tool, yeah, the tool definitely goes in this way, or is it this way? I forget, but once we get on top, this locks right into the teeth of the plastic, and you can use just a regular 3/8 ratchet with an extension and get this to come right off, and then reuse the cap almost every time, because the new filter comes with a seal for the cap. So I mean, if you go to like a parts store, they're gonna sell you their brand of cap and filter all in one. You'll probably spend a little bit more money than actually using OEM Ford filters. We can't stress enough how important the OEM filters are for the motors on these things. That's just a good way to save a couple bucks, by using the brand new OEM actual filter and reusing the cap each time. All right, so we're almost done draining out the old oil. We're gonna climb under there like we were just telling you with this tool. When you loosen it, it's gonna apply pressure and it's gonna grab it, and it's gonna turn the old filter off. And we'll get that sucker out. We'll put the oil pan nut back in, clean it up a little bit, and then we'll pre-fill the oil filter and put the new one in.
Let's see how this tool works.
Right through. This fits up here very, very nicely. I highly recommend this tool.
We can post a link probably for it if you have a 7.3.
Yeah. You want to get it as close over here, and then it just grabs it very nicely. Like we said, they only need to be hand tight plus a little bit, so they should come right off every single time. You just get the tool to break free, and now you're good to go with your hands just to spin it off. And at this point, if we didn't punch a hole, it'd be spilling down the sides like crazy. Okay, that's
nice
it.
And easy.
Look just at that. Nice and clean.
You got the nut.
The nut's right here. It has a little magnet on the bottom to collect any. There's almost nothing on here. The truck's 23 years old.
Yeah.
Let's just take this nut out and I'm going to clean it and we'll pre-fill that thing up. So we are going to pre-fill the new oil filter. We'll fold the tabs in. We can use the box itself for filling this up. I forget how many quarts. I think this is a quart maybe.
I think the thing takes a quart.
Yeah.
It might even take more than that.
I'm gonna hold that for a sec.
Yeah.
Got it?
Yep.
I guess you think there are companies that have 20, 30, 40 trucks, maybe more, maybe less. I couldn't imagine doing 50 oil changes in a day.
Yeah.
If we did all these at once in a day, we'd have 6 or 7.
Yeah.
But that's what they have full-time mechanics for. Okay, so we're gonna take some of this new oil here, dip our finger in and just oil up the new O-ring.
Yeah.
So one it'll come off nice and easy next time we go to change the oil. And then this thing's ready to screw in.
Yeah.
We get the oil drain pan nut installed. So once this is in, the underneath service is done. Now we'll be able to add the oil from the top. All right, so we're hand tight now. I like to just go a little bit tighter. And that's it.
That's it.
That'll do it. It's oil drain pan nut is in. Now's a good time to look at any other spots that may be leaking. We may possibly have a small tiny drip coming from maybe the turbo seals. I mean, all these seals have been done within the past year and a half, so I'm not too worried. We have a brand new oil cooler that have been resealed. This truck is in pretty good shape for its year. We get a lot of questions. What do you guys do with your used oil? It seems to be popping up, a common theme on YouTube and Instagram. We have a 55-gallon drum. 3/4 of a year I think we were getting out of this thing filled up, and we'll call a waste oil service and they'll come in and they'll drain this for like 50 bucks. Okie doke, so we have about a quart of oil already in the oil filter. Like we said, this takes around 15 to 15.5 quarts, so we're gonna dump in, we'll start with 15.
See where we're at.
Yeah, so we'll dump in about 3.5 gallons, and then we'll run it. We'll let it sit for a couple minutes, and then we'll check the dipstick and add as necessary. The oil's filled, the cap's back in, the dipstick's back in. We're gonna fire this truck up, let it run for 10-15 seconds, then we'll let it sit for a couple minutes, and then we'll get a good, accurate reading on the oil. So if you guys have been supporters of this channel for, I guess, what, a year and a half now since we started it?
Yeah.
You've seen this truck since day one. Take a good look at this, because you guys will be seeing this truck for how many more years?
A while.
A while. I think about how it's 2023 already, and this truck will be here till at least 2030 unless they shut it down and make it everything electric. But if you've been supporting the channel up until now, we thank you. And if you're going to continue to support the channel to see wherever this brings us, we thank you for that also. But we're going to run this motor until it actually explodes, because the truck is rust free. So any little part that needs to be replaced, we're going to do it, but everything else is solid.
Just do our washer fluid.
Yeah, while the oil is, we're going to get a good accurate reading on the oil, we'll top off the washer fluid.
I just said we go through a lot of this. You can see all the dust on the truck. You know, it's in a dusty environment. The whole truck is. It's a work truck, and we get all that on the windshield. So we go through a good amount, but you just want to make sure it's up to date and just keep on top of everything.
I mean, it's basically, he said dust. We'll clean this out, but this is all from the leaves.
Yeah, it's all from leaf season. I mean, we got it done at the end of the leaf season, and then truck sat all winter, so.
Jim and I always preach and believe in that. If the truck is a clean airframe, as Bill Hewitt would say, as rust-free as you can get it, you can build anything onto it and do whatever you want to it.
Yeah.
So you see, he's down in Georgia, right? Buford, Georgia.
Yeah.
You can see he's always selling trucks. The prices are questionable, but they're rust-free, turnkey and go, and you get his warranty on all the work that he does. And they're half of the cost of a brand new truck.
But they have like 300,000 miles.
The miles are high, but it's a brand new engine, it's a brand new transmission, and it's rust-free.
So no, yeah. So in the buyer's eye, it doesn't matter.
So we do need more oil.
It's a new truck, because on paper it's not new, but it's everything that makes the truck go is new.
Yeah.
That's what we like to compare most of our stuff to, is because we do the necessary stuff. We like rust-free trucks that we can work on and make it exactly how we want it.
Which is why we bought that white truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to add a little bit more oil, but clean airframe, meaning rust-free. This truck is as close to rust-free as you could get.
Yeah, it's.
The doors are in perfect shape. The fenders, the cab corners, the rocker panels underneath.
If anything's on it, it's just surface rust.
Yeah, the frame is. Yeah, it's buildable. So if this engine, say, would blow up tomorrow, we could drop a new one in.
Yeah.
Or use one or rebuild it or whatever. Stuff like batteries and just all the little cosmetic stuff can all be replaced.
All right,
so
oil's done.
Oil's done. This is a 6760 Ford fuel filter wrench. Like we said, these little plastic grooves will fit into these grooves that are on the cap, so you can reuse them. I mean, I see some people take a screwdriver and a hammer and bang these out and ruin the cap. But the cap, I don't know, is 20-30 bucks just for the cap.
Yeah.
So you can do this just like so.
That's easy every single time.
Yeah.
And we change these. We keep up on these filters because a lot of dirt comes through.
Yeah.
You'll see, this is probably going to be dirty.
Here's the fuel filter cap, which we are going to reuse. So we're going to stick this on the side.
The element. You got the O-ring.
People use drain valve on the back of the fuel filter bowl.
Yeah.
They leak like crazy from there. So if you replace it once with a Ford product, you'll be done. A Ford part, you'll be done with it.
Don't do it with another one or else it'll leak.
And you'll be doing it again. It's easy to get to. You need a Torx bit, whatever size it is. You drain the fuel, people like to do first. It comes out the tube in the front and
it leaks all over the place.
You could catch it.
You could.
What we like to do is absorb it with paper towels or a rag or something and really clean the bottom of the fuel filter bowl.
How does it look? It
doesn't look too bad.
I wonder what the bottom of it looks like.
So there's the old fuel filter.
It's a little dirty.
It's done its job.
Yeah.
We change it frequently. No, it looks really good, dude.
It does?
The bottom of the fuel filter will get caked in all of the crap that can't get absorbed into the filter, and it'll build up on the bottom.
Yeah.
So we like to drain all the fuel out of the fuel bowl. Sometimes take the heater element out and
take a screwdriver or something.
Yeah, like carb cleaner, brake cleaner, and clean it out. But
yeah, here, move the paper towel after you're done. I don't know, the fuel in there looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to drain it, let it go down the side of the motor. But I like to really get every last drop out of here and make sure this is good. Just like so. It's really clean.
Yeah.
Like really clean.
When did you do it last?
This was done last spring.
Yeah. Well,
we do the
I don't think we used this truck honestly that much.
We didn't last year.
But still,
We used it for leaves every day. We used it for spring cleanups and mulch, but for lawn route, we didn't use it that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna need more of these.
If you don't keep up on these, it'll get really dirty, and then you'll be in the truck, and then it won't go over 10 miles an hour if it's really bad. But when you do that, you're killing your injectors because they're starving for fuel.
Yep.
So you need to keep up with this. I'll climb up here. You'll be able to really see the bottom now. This one is good. You know, there's a little bit
of residue on the bottom. A lot of times they'll be caked up way more than that, and then it's just a
clean it
yeah,
until you take the heating element out, which
yeah,
is this,
which is
with
right
two
here.
torch bits.
But yeah, so this is just because it's it has an element. If it's like one of those screw-on filters from underneath or an inline filter, you just chuck it away and put a new one on. But unfortunately, all the 7.3s have a fuel bowl unless you delete them, but that's just how it is. All right, go ahead.
Just one other side note why these fuel filter bowls get filled up with so much crap. On these cabin chassis trucks, they have metal tanks from the factory that have a lining, a spray-in lining inside them. And that lining comes apart over time, and it will go through the sending unit, it'll go through the fuel filter, and it will make its way up into this fuel filter. And it's like paint almost, right?
Yeah, it's like little chips.
Yeah, and this bowl was filled up last year. It took my injectors. That's why I had to put new injectors in this thing, and then put a brand new plastic fuel tank in this truck last year because the old metal one had all the crap coming off of it. But if you do not clean this fuel filter bowl to the absolute max and don't take these extra steps, you will be stuck on the side of the road with the truck running like crap with no power. So take the extra time and do it the right way.
Yeah.
We're gonna install the new O-ring. We need to find some fuel to
Lubricate
lube
it.
up the. That's all it is the filter element gets the new O-ring. It drops right onto the pipe here. Push it down in. That's in, and now we can just address the fuel filter cap. This old one honestly would probably still work too because we did it not long ago. But in with the new. Okie dokie.
All right.
Okay, now we are
See you next year.
Yeah, we're gonna cycle the key.
Cycle the key, let the fuel come up.
Yeah, we'll let the fuel come up and we'll run it and just check the leaks. Make sure the O-ring's sealed good. Like we said, we got a brand new fuel tank in here, a plastic one last year. So we're just gonna pull the sending unit out real quick and check the screens. While we're under here, we're gonna inspect and just make sure everything is good. Now's a good time to grease up the fittings for the actual hoist. You have, I think, 2 there, 1 on the back. You got a couple here. Do the back hinges. We will do the U-joints on the drive shaft, which are very easy to get to right here.
Yeah.
We know the brakes are good. We redid all the seals and the brakes and the bearings last winter. Just basic maintenance work. So here's the sending unit out of the fuel tank. The 2 screens are located right in here. So you take 2 little flat screwdrivers, or at least that's how we do it. We go right between the 2 tongs. There's like quick snaps, and the whole guts of it will come out the bottom. We'll be able to get easy access to see the filter. The screens out of the tank. They do have some metal flakes, which is left over from, I guess, the old fuel tank of, when I installed these were brand new. This was all cleaned out, but I guess it was in the fuel lines a little bit. They are pretty clean for being a year. We're gonna completely clean them out, replace them, and clean out the actual foot here and everything. You can see this is the pickup screen. A little bit of flaking, but nothing crazy.
Yeah, sometimes these things break off.
Yeah, they break off right here.
When you go to get a new one,
right
get a Motorcraft one, or else it's going to break off again.
Yeah. And if these things are clogged solid and your truck is running but has no power, I would start with this.
Yes.
Versus don't start at the fuel filter on the top of the motor. You need to start at the origination of where the fuel starts from. So here's the screens that are all cleaned up. They were brand new last year, so we didn't need to replace them. We just cleaned them out. But you can see all over me, this was the lining, what was ever left over from the old, you can see it here, from the old fuel tank. We cleaned it out really, really good. We cleaned the screen really good. Because it all starts from here where the fuel is getting sucked in. So now we can put this back together and we'll be good to go for another year. Just like that, it snaps right back in place.
Good.
Here's our DeWalt grease gun. Fill the tube up with a tub of grease. And we can just zip away at this with a fully charged battery in no time. Okay, that one's done.
So we'll go through with this grease gun and we'll just do everything with it. We do like the U-joints will all get done with it. Tie rod ends, some of them are serviceable, I believe, underneath. Sometimes ball joints are serviceable or they're non-serviceable. So we'll go through everything with this thing, and it really saves us a lot of time.
The gauge. No, it's at 80.
Fill it up. Goes to 110.
All right, just wrapping up this video here. This truck is now ready to go for this entire year. Engine oil change, we did the fuel filters in the fuel tank and on top of the motor. We greased up the entire truck. We greased up the dump body. I mean, what else? We just checked everything. We checked the air filter. We checked all the tire pressure and added some air where necessary. We fixed the tarp on the dump body. And just basically to sum it up, we just went over the entire truck and it's ready to go. Start the key and go. That'll wrap it up for this video. We're going to do this same procedure to the 450 over there. The gold truck's going to need it. And our new white truck is going to get a little bit more in detail tune-up than we did to this thing. Maybe a little bit more because that's new to us. But that'll wrap it up. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't. And we'll see you in the next one.